The Trumps aren't just wealthy, they are, let's buy a private island for the weekend, rich. Theirs is an empire spanning skyscrapers to golf courses to even a line of steaks. Because, well, why not? But how did they get so wealthy? And why is it that every time you see the Trump name, it's on something shinier than the last thing? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know how this family took that last name and turned it into an international brand that pretty much screams, "We're rich and we know it." Let's get real. You might know the Trumps for their over-the-top lifestyles, their headline-stealing politics, or even their uncanny ability to turn just about anything into a money-making venture. Seriously, Trump water? Trump vodka? What's next? Trump toothpaste? It whitens your teeth like a luxury hotel lobby. But beneath all the glitz and glamour lies a far more interesting tale of hustle, big moves, and yes, a little bit of luck. Today, we're peeling back the gold-plated layers to get to the real story of how the Trump family went mega wealthy. The foundations of Trump wealth before Donald was making skyscrapers and reality TV catchphrases. It was Fred Trump who laid the foundation. And let me tell you, Fred wasn't just building homes, he was building a fortune, one brick at a time. Frederick Christ Trump, yes, his middle name is Christ, because apparently, even in the early 1900s, this family knew they were destined for greatness. Was born in 1905. By age 15, most of them were thinking about school dances and acne, while Fred designed and constructed his first house. While still a teenager, Fred was house flipping, while you were trying to get through algebra. Fred was one of those guys who could take a piece of dirt and build a neighborhood around it. And if he ever went on Shark Tank, I'm pretty sure the sharks would be bidding him for advice. When Fred got into his stride back in the 1940s, New York was right in the middle of a housing boom. Fred wasn't building for the rich and famous, no. His bread and butter were middle-class families. His shore haven, beach haven complexes included apartment complexes with all the essentials, spacious units, community areas, and parking spaces enough to make any modern New Yorker cry tears of jealousy. Fred's secret? Efficiency. He could keep the costs low without cutting corners on quality, meaning greater profit and happier tenants. And who could forget his wizardry at pre-qualifying government contracts, securing loans, and then getting sweet tax breaks. This man could negotiate his way out of a locked bank vault and then probably end up with the vault. The sharpness of Fred's business acumen was such that, were he alive today, Excel would probably name a formula after him. Donald was Fred's shadow since childhood. His playgrounds were construction sites. His classrooms were business meetings. Fred taught him everything, from how to negotiate a deal to how to spot a contractor who is trying to overcharge for drywall. It's said that Fred would hand young Donald a broom and tell him to start sweeping. Now, was it a lesson in humility, or was Fred just getting free labor? The jury's still out. Donald Trump. When Donald took over officially in the 1970s, he knew exactly what he wanted to do with the family business. He wanted it to be an empire. And by empire, I don't mean a bunch of properties, but a brand so recognizable you could slap the name on a paperclip and it would sell for $20. His first big play was with the Commodore Hotel. It had been a crumbling relic next to Grand Central Terminal at the time. Donald, ever the optimist and arguably the king at sprucing up hulking properties, saw potential. He negotiated an arrangement with the city around tax abatements, brought in partners at Hyatt, and remade the Commodore into the Grand Hyatt. Overnight, he turned a dump into a luxury hotspot. Just imagine walking into that hotel after the renovation. marble floors, high-end finishes, and not a budget motel vibe in sight. The Commodore had gotten a glow-up worthy of a reality TV show. Then there was the overnight icon, Trump Tower, the 58-story skyscraper that came next. Completed in 1983, this building wasn't just a skyscraper, it was a statement, complete with gold accents, marble interiors, and a waterfall that fills the lobby with a constant scream of, "Look at me, I'm fancy." Trump Tower would quickly become one of the hottest addresses in New York. And who can forget the amenities? The building was so opulent that even the janitor's closet probably had a chandelier. In the 1980s, Donald expanded to Atlantic City, building casinos as outsized as they were lucrative, at least initially. There was the Taj Mahal, the $1 billion extravaganza that Donald infamously dubbed the eighth wonder of the world. The Taj Mahal had it all: crystal chandeliers, gold plating on everything, and a level of extravagance that'd make even the most sybaritic Vegas high roller say, "All right, now you're just showing off." Unfortunately, running a casino empire is a bit like playing blackjack. Sometimes the house doesn't win. Donald wasn't satisfied with sticking to real estate and casinos. He dabbled in everything from Trump Airlines, spoiler alert. It didn't last long, to Trump's steaks, the world's greatest steaks. According to, well, Donald, honest to God, is there anything this man didn't put his name on? If you told me there was a Trump-branded toaster, I'd believe you. Ivanka Trump. Ivanka Trump isn't just a chip off the old block. She's a whole new kind of mogul. With her sharp business acumen and a flair for fashion, Ivanka has built her own empire that is stylish but successful. She not only played an integral part in the Trump organization, but she had to do with huge projects like the Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C. Proof that she could hold her own with the big boys in real estate. Ivanka wasn't some photo op girl. She was in the trenches, making decisions, and probably out-negotiating people twice her age. In 2007, she launched a jewelry line that was followed by a full fashion collection. Her brand was all about affordable luxury for the professional women who wanted to look chic on a dime. Ivanka's line was so on point. It felt like she had somehow cracked the cheat code for how to look like a millionaire on a budget. And really, who wouldn't want that? Ivanka didn't stop at jewelry. Her brand quickly expanded into clothing, handbags, and footwear, all predicated on a simple yet brilliant hook: affordable luxury. Her products were designed to make the working woman look like she owned the boardroom, even if her actual boardroom was her living room with a desk crammed into the corner. Let's get it. Ivanka cracked it. Her designs were the sartorial version of a magic spell slither into them, and voila, you instantly feel capable of negotiating $1 million deal while balancing your coffee and dodging morning traffic. The Ivanka line once was carried by major retailers such as Nordstrom and Macy's and raked in over $100 million annually during its peak. Even though Ivanka stepped away from her brand upon entering the White House, one thing is for sure: her power and influence in the world of fashion are incomparable. But Ivanka wasn't all about fashion. She was a powerhouse in the Trump organization. As an executive vice president, she oversaw high-profile projects such as the Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C. Her keen eye for detail and unstoppable work ethic made sure that every project was executed perfectly, or at least with a lobby grand enough to impress even the pickiest of hotel critics. Ivanka was said to be competent. Need a multi-million-dollar deal closed? Done. Need to argue over the exact tone of marbles slated for the penthouse suite? She's 3 steps ahead, swatches and spreadsheet at the ready. During her dad's presidency, Ivanka pivoted to assume a new role as senior advisor in the White House and concentrated on job creation and economic empowerment. That pivot just showed her versatility, from a corporate boardroom into the political arena. Ivanka went from managing real estate deals to helping manage the country. Talk about leveling up your LinkedIn profile. Eric Trump. If there is one thing Eric Trump loves more than real estate, then that would have to be golf. And honestly, with some of the most beautiful golf courses in the world being part of your office, who wouldn't spend every spare minute perfecting their swing? Eric has been an influential figure within the Trump organization, managing some of its biggest real estate developments. Among many, he led in the development of the Trump International Hotel and Tower in Chicago, a 92-story wonder that is iconic, just as it is luxurious. It's got it all: luxury condos, fine dining, hotel suites, so fancy, even room service has a concierge. You can bet your bottom dollar Eric was there every step of the way to make sure it was as grand as the Trump name promised. The real passion of Eric, however, is the world of golf. During his leadership, the Trump organization has developed and acquired 19 golf courses around the globe. These are not your everyday ordinary courses, but sprawling estates complete with clubhouses, fine dining, and spa services. From the breathtaking sea views at Trump Turnberry in Scotland to the expansive sprawl of Trump National Doral in Florida, Eric has built a golf empire that pulls in players from all corners of the globe. I'm so sure he is committed to the game that the next thing I expect him to try to do is design a course on Mars. And who knows, right? Elon Musk makes rockets. Why not? These are not playgrounds for golf, but serious business, hosting major tournaments and catering to high-profile clientele. Trump's golf courses have turned into quite the cash cow. Eric's strategy has turned these properties into destinations for luxury experiences that promise to be as lucrative as they are scenic. Next time you catch Eric lining up a putt, remember, it is not just game time, it's deal time, one hole at a time. Tiffany Trump. While Tiffany Trump may not be constantly in the headlines like her siblings, do not let her quiet nature fool you. She's got brains, ambition, and a law degree to boot. Any time in the future that the Trumps may need an ace in the legal hole, well, it's Tiffany. Tiffany graduated from Georgetown Law in 2020 with specializations in corporate and international law. While she is still an early starter in her career, this education positions her to be an asset within the family enterprise in understanding issues of legality. Tiffany walks into the courtroom, armed to the teeth, with legal briefs and a killer power suit. The opponents wouldn't know what hit them. Kind of like finding out your favorite food truck has raised its prices. Devastating, but you got to respect the hustle. Unlike her sisters and brothers, Tiffany has kept a rather low profile. She has been studying and growing as a person. But that does not make her stranger to the limelight, as she does attend highly publicized events and makes headlines through the philanthropic works she engages in. Tiffany is also quite active on social media. Through the platforms, she shares bits about her life and advocates for causes dear to her, such as education and children's welfare. It's almost like she's saying, "I'll stay on the back burner, but you know when I arrive, it's because it means something." With her experience in law, Tiffany has the opportunities to dive deeper into the Trump organization to have a much larger role, particularly dealing with compliance, contracts, and international law. Who knows, someday she may be the one overseeing billion-dollar deals while her siblings are arguing over whose turn it is to take the private jet. Melania Trump. Melania Trump is more than just a former First Lady. From international model to successful entrepreneur, she has made a place for herself in the world of the Trump empire. Melania started her career as a model, working with top designers and gracing the covers of magazines like Vogue and GQ. She became one of the international fashion icons in front of whom every woman looks up to style herself with elegance and poise. Melania can probably make a burlap sack look like couture. Seriously, her fashion game is on another level. In 2010, Melania introduced her line of jewelry on QVC, sophisticated but reasonably priced. The line was an instant hit, selling out multiple times. Later, she expanded her product line into skincare, launching a line of luxury skincare products containing caviar. Because if you're going to moisturize, why not do it with fish eggs? Her business ventures really showed that Melania was not all about style. She had substance too. And let's be real, if you can peddle jewelry and skincare during the holiday shopping rush, you can probably run a small country. As First Lady, Melania committed her work to initiatives such as the Be Best campaign for the betterment and welfare of children. Whether hosting state dinners or decorating the White House for Christmas, she does it in style. Let's just say this: if Martha Stewart ever needs tips on hosting, Melania's got her covered. The global reach of the Trump organization. But the Trumps could have very comfortably never left US borders and instead chose to go global. Why limit yourself to one country when you can stamp your name on buildings from New York to Manila? The Trump organization isn't merely a real estate company, it's a worldwide luxury brand. The early 2000s marked the beginning of the Trump organization's foray into international markets. From Vancouver and Toronto to Istanbul and Manila, they developed or branded some properties in some of the most prestigious cities around the world. These were no ordinary tall buildings, but monuments to Trumpian luxury. A Trump-branded hotel, say, in Istanbul, could best be described as a walk into a palace: crystal chandeliers, marble floors, and a concierge who probably moonlights as a butler for royalty. If opulence were a game, these properties would take the gold medal, and then have it plated in 24-karat gold for good measure. Of these, the most striking is the Trump International Hotel and Tower in Vancouver, an ultra-modern glass skyscraper filled with luxury suites overlooking their city panoramas. It has upscale lodging, a Michelin star restaurant, and one of the finest cocktail lounges in town. The Trump Towers Istanbul had two towers, one residential and another commercial. The property consists of luxury apartments, a shopping mall, and office spaces, which are targeted to appeal to the high-net-worth individuals and businesses. Fun fact: if one cannot decide between shopping for designer clothes or running a multinational corporation, Trump Towers Istanbul has got them covered. 1 minute you're in the board meeting, and the next you're picking out your new handbag. Efficiency at its best. The Trump brand caused a stir in the Far East with the construction of Trump Tower Manila in the Philippines. This high-rise residential tower, built up to become one of the prime symbols of truly luxurious living that was associated with one of Asia's fastest-growing cities. Imagine sipping your morning coffee from your penthouse balcony, looking out over Manila's skyline, thinking, "This view goes perfectly with my golden espresso machine." But international growth isn't all an easy sail. Some projects are in legal and political troubled waters. Certain markets were also plagued with controversies, including of the Trump name, particularly when local governments or communities raised red flags about the brand's impact. But let's get real here. If there's one thing the Trumps know how to do, It's handle a little drama. Be it deal renegotiation or hopping over legal hurdles, they always seem to land on their feet, and usually in a pair of very expensive shoes. Overcoming controversies and challenges. No success story is devoid of hiccups, and the Trumps are not an exception. This is the family that, like any other described by a soap opera plot, has seen it all, from bankruptcies to legal battles. The Trump organization's foray into the casino scene in Atlantic City was ambitious, to say the least. At the height of it, Donald owned 3 major casinos: Trump Plaza, Trump Castle, and the Taj Mahal. However, the world of gambling is always highly volatile, and the 1990s were unkind to Atlantic City. The Taj Mahal, despite its grandeur, was in financial straits right out of the box. Finally, the casino filed bankruptcy, as did its sister properties. These failures culminated in a number of headline bankruptcies. It's like betting it all on red, only for the ball to land on black. 3 times in a row. Still, if there is one thing Donald knows, it is how to bounce back. Bankruptcy, just a restructuring opportunity in his playbook. The other sundry controversies are Trump University, a real estate education program promising to disclose the secrets of Donald's success. This has therefore faced lawsuits from former students claiming they were not given value as promised. In 2016, Trump settled the suits for $25 million. The end to a legal saga with much publicity. Lesson learned? Perhaps stick to building towers and leave the teaching to the professors. Donald's presidency placed the Trump organization under a new level of scrutiny. Quite often, critics of his questioned whether his political role created conflicts of interest, particularly with foreign-owned Trump properties. Despite the challenge, however, the family has maintained that the business was being independently run by Eric and Don Jr. during Donald's time in office. Running a worldwide business and leading the free world that's multitasking of an order that most of us can't even envision. I struggle just trying to answer emails and make dinner on the same day. Love them or hate them, the Trump family has definitely left their mark. From their skyscraper property to sprawling golf courses and a worldwide brand, their place in history and our reality takes some serious doing. Theirs is a story of ambition, strategy, and a little bit of drama, okay. Maybe a whole load of drama. But the saga of Trump is just a single piece in the global wealth puzzle. If you thought this was interesting, then wait until you see our next video, Inside the Life of Saudi Arabia's Richest Family. We're diving deep into a life of luxury yachts, everything made of gold, and palaces so big they make castles look like starter homes. Let me tell you, you'll want to stick around for this one. Before you go, be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the world's wealthiest families. Hit that bell icon so you never miss a moment of the action. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.